All right, my babies, here we go. Shaun Deeb's game. Shaun and MJ Gonzales are in for $50,000 each. Ben Lamb should be here soon. We'll learn more about these other players as the game goes on. From what I understand, there's no shortage of net worth here, so I would expect plenty of adding on. Let's go.
50, 100, and a straddle, everybody.
All right, you heard the man. Blinds are 50, 100 with an optional straddle to 200, which is a blind raise, which buys you last action before the flop. MJ with 7 tray suited. The 7 deuce game is on, but not 7 tray. Okay, MJ makes it 1,000. Cool. Big slick energy for Sullivan.
You a golfer?
No, I don't sweat for free and I don't freeze for free. So
Usually every day you start walking.
I usually
Makes
sweat.
it 2,500. That's a re-raise.
I mean, I'm from New York. It's too cold. It's the season's not
And
as long.
MJ really does hate money. Calls the re-raise with 7-3 suited. Sean is a very honest person. King 8-7, top pair, top kicker for Sullivan.
You know where the Finger Lakes are?
Yeah, it's like 3 hours.
Where
Most
is
kids
it?
find the Finger Lakes
so
when
it's
they're in
kinda-
the 8th grade.
Right, like almost in the middle.
Sullivan
east.
betting 1,600.
It's like Pennsylvania, I guess.
MJ calls the 1,600 with third pair. 5 of hearts on the turn, which gives MJ a flush draw,
It's like the Finger Lakes.
which means he's likely to call another bet.
All over, though.
$5,000 hairs. And 5,000 doll hairs. That's what Shaun Deeb's got stuck to the bottom of his chin. As suspected, MJ makes the call with a pair and a flush draw. River improves MJ's hand to 8s and 7. It doesn't really matter. Nope. Top pair, top kicker, still good. See, the 8 doesn't really count because everyone gets it. Sullivan conjuring a value bet. Oh, all of it. Okay, $12,350. And
Double this guy up the first hand.
this would
How much
be
is
a
it, 10?
pretty wild call.
12,350, I think.
I guess there's some pot odd considerations here, given what's already out there. I don't know much about Keir's game, but usually when someone does this, they have
So high up.
a pair of 7s beat. By the way, what happened to Shaun Deeb? What year is it? He looks like Robin Williams from Jumanji.
How much do you have exactly? How much was it?
12,350.
Oh, man.
Trying to talk to him.
Stay out of it, dealer.
Oh, I don't think this is a bluff, actually. Ugh. Sean, if I'm right, I get the pot. But if I'm wrong,
I'm kneeling you.
I
You're
look-
down the most.
I
So
look-
yes,
I
I've
look-
been waiting to say that comment.
but I also look pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I do look pretty dumb.
MJ is either going to make the correct fold or spend $12,500 that says, please invite me to your poker game. Does, in fact, pay it off.
You were right till you were wrong.
Nice hand.
And a
Double up for me.
double up for Keir at the beginning of the night.
I gotta get going. Hey, Ben Lamb, you want a seat?
Oh, boy. Not cool, Keir.
What's it like giving birth?
I wouldn't know.
No, no.
Do you
I
know
mean,
much
like-
about? I know you had a California education. Do they not teach you how things work?
no
I know we're
mean,
really
like-
high up in the dial, but this isn't the surgery channel, is it?
And, like, going through
Miserable.
Okay.
Craig's on his 4th time doing that.
Actually, I prefer my wife pregnant. She's actually not miserable. She's just.
I'm trying to think of a poker and pregnancy joke. A C-bet section. Okay, Johnson's made it 300 with 8-7 of clubs. Sullivan's in there with Jack 6 of clubs, and both have flopped a flush draw.
That's 300?
Craig has to deal with my wife very frequently.
Yeah.
Johnson firing 300.
A little over 9, I started the hand.
Did you grab your chips, MJ? Just to.
Sullivan calls. A club would be big, big trouble for Johnson. It ain't a club, though. It's the 8 of spades. Johnson not in big, big trouble. Ahead now with a pair of 8s.
500?
Johnson betting 500. Uh-oh. Something tells me we're going to like this Keir kid. Makes it 3,000. Pair and a flush draw are pretty hard to get rid of. There's still that magical river to come. It's all about firing that river if it's not a club. That's what we'll see what Sullivan's made of.
Call 3,000.
Johnson does make the call. The river card is kind of a brick. Pairs the board.
Check.
Sullivan does not fire the river.
eight.
Turns out he's made of candy.
Yeah.
Pair of eight's going to be good.
Trying to get ya.
And, okay, so we celebrate the wins and ball up our fists at losses. Got a real wild card here. Action
Play well that day.
going to be on Ben Lamb. Not straddling. Someone take his temperature. Is he okay?
A lot.
Action folds around to Craig Stackewicz,
Was that on like a live stream or something?
who wins the pot with 7 deuce. Now, the stakes are pretty big in the 7 deuce game here.
Who folded last?
I did.
$500 from each player and $500 extra from the player who folded last. That is a big pot.
Craig.
Over
500.
$3K.
Look at how happy he is.
Nice hand.
You know what? I've never played that game before.
Well, now you're never not going to play it. You're welcome. Oh, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Poker Night in America, where Keir Sullivan is the biggest winner so far tonight, mostly courtesy of MJ Gonzales, who has been cycled out in lieu of Ben Lamb. We've got a double straddle on here.
He was like, I want to solo you so bad.
That's a lot of money in the pot. Sigsbee
No one's had a good hand.
calls with pocket sevens. Deeb has king 4 off. Too much money to leave out there.
Don't be too quick to turn your hand over.
Just 200 to stay in, and Sullivan checks his option with Jack 9 offsuit. Flop is 8 trade deuce rainbow.
I was trying to confuse you.
7's
800.
the best hand. Bets 800.
7 high, 7 low. Call 800.
Sullivan makes the call. A little float here. Does turn one of the straight cards he would have been looking for.
Bet 12.
Doesn't immediately improve his hand. Now facing a $1,200 bet from Sigsbee. Doesn't seem like the folding type now that he's picked up equity.
Call 1,200.
Sure isn't. Oh, my live reads are killer today. I gotta play the numbers. River card is a 9. That improves Sullivan to the winner.
Check. Check.
7.
Those 9s do get to showdown, and they are the best hand. Straddle on once again. Keir Sullivan in $200 blind. This guy's name is Craig Stackewicz, by the way. Was Chip Chapowski not available?
And that you just retired for the year after that?
Yeah, that was 5 years ago.
Ben Lamb in with Queen Jack offsuit. Shaun Deeb calls as well with Ace 8 off.
It probably took Ben, what, 3 weeks to drink that much of wine of yours worth?
Yeah, that's about right.
Raised to 1,500.
Is the 10 deuce game on? Because Sullivan is making it 1,500 with 10-2 offsuit.
I was impressed
Gets one fold.
how much knowledge you had of the line.
Deeb
You
calls.
have King Jack offsuit.
Does not have King Jack
Is it
offsuit.
ahead right now?
No.
Check.
Retired life.
Because of the flop or pre-flop?
Ace high, the best hand after the
That's too much.
9-6-6 flop.
Bets 800.
That was bizarre, I think.
It was good.
Craig's not adventurous either, so he got out of his comfort zone a
It's a
little
little unusual, right?
Yeah,
That's cool.
I mean,
Sullivan C-bets 800, called by
Did they do
Deeb.
the cotton candy foie gras?
yeah. I never had
Deuce
that.
of hearts on the turn, so Sullivan does improve to a pair now.
First time I've ever had foie gras was
Check,
there.
check. River card is
That would be my last.
I didn't know what
the
it
10 of
was.
spades.
Trevor actually ordered it for me.
so another 3-pair hand for Sullivan.
Like, I don't know.
Did they say foie gras? You really haven't lived until you've eaten the liver of a goose that's been force-fed till it explodes. Cruelty is delicious.
Like, yeah, the meat's good too.
Very good.
Sullivan finding a value bet and gets paid by ace high immediately.
I fell asleep at the table.
Looks like Sean's not just replaying this hand in his mind, but maybe his entire life. There it is.
I feel like I'm the only one playing cards.
Keir's having a great day. Maybe next day he'll show up in something different than ER scrubs.
Great.
I'm sorry, is he really a healthcare worker? I don't want to go there if so. Stackewicz, ace king suited.
Shane was worried
I
about.
hope he's friends with Johnny Bluffstein and Terry Turnbet.
Big for him. And I informed him he was going to have 100 bets on NFL today, bigger than.
Lamb calls with ace queen off. 10-9 for
People are supposed to
Sullivan.
get it down the most, so clearly it doesn't matter in this either.
8-5 deuce, 2 spades. Ace king high. The nut nothing. The best hand. And Stackewicz bets 400.
College football for tomorrow.
Is there some? There's some. college
Ben
football.
calls with ace queen high. And Sullivan puts out a raise. This is technically what the nerds call a bluff. Doesn't bluff out Stackewicz, but does
Trying
get
again
rid
for you,
of one
bud.
better
Trying.
hand.
Well,
To the turn.
last time I was bluffing.
10. Sullivan no longer needs to bluff.
Yeah, I got on a phone call with him last week. I guess he has some kind of a.
It
poker
goes
background?
check, check.
Round eye or.
Sullivan once again in a position to be able to value bet the river.
Wyman used to live in Boston, so they hung out a little bit.
$4,000 is that river value bet. And we've seen a fair few light calls already. And Stackewicz does make
You had
the
it?
correct laydown.
Define.
And that's 3 pots in a row for Andrew W.K.'s stepson. Party, party. We'll be right back.
I bet large to put you in a tough spot,
Not really that tough.
but you folded.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that tough, though.
Welcome back to Poker Night in America, where Keir Sullivan continues to have his way with this table.
Here, you a big golfer?
I actually do like golfing.
Really?
Huh.
I say, looking at it, it was a 0% chance.
Yeah, same.
I grew up on a golf course.
Oh, okay.
What, like
Well,
in a van
I
in
spent
a
a lot of
parking
time on a
lot?
golf course. My grandfather lives on one in San Diego.
While your parents followed fish around?
You know Steel Canyon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my grandfather has a house in Steel Canyon.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I used to play a lot.
All right, enough with the Seal Canyon. Back to the poker. Sixty's made it $400 with King Jack. Lamb is in. Johnson is in. Sullivan is in. 4 ways to the flop, which is 9-9 Trey. Trips for Sullivan. My goodness.
Check. Check.
Checks around. No
See, you guys want to let
action
me
so
win the
far.
flop.
Quadzilla on the turn. Sullivan with 4 of a kind.
Check.
And Sigsbee is going to put some money into this pot, drawing dead.
650.
Lamb folds. Sullivan, yeah, you might want to just take another look at that. You don't want it to be a 6, right? You're like, oh no, I screwed that up. Not sure I would raise here. Is someone really betting a pair of 3s now?
1800.
Sullivan, not listening to me. How could he? Makes it 1850
Fold.
and gets 2 folds. What a
You
night
would have called the 1800 the 50 had to fold for.
Yeah, but
Keir Sullivan is having.
Genius.
I'm starting to notice a pattern in who's straddling and who isn't. Sigsbee does not straddle, folds under the gun. Lamb 10-5 offsuit, folds.
handicap doesn't.
Deeb with ace tray. He's in, $300. Sullivan with a couple of lady kings now.
1000.
On, dude.
Re-raises to 1,000, a quick flick in from Deeb.
A lot less
And
shit.
we've got over 2K in the middle. Ace, queen, jack, top pair for Deeb. Second set for Sullivan. Deeb drawing nearly dead. Sullivan continues for 700. Deeb certainly not folding.
Call 700.
Calls.
Like, I'm getting ready to shoot 45.
Turn is another ace. That's a full house for Sullivan. Trips for Deeb. What, not quads again? Just a full house? This could get expensive. Sullivan probably well aware that that ace could have connected with Deeb. Makes it 2,800.
It's harder, but it's for me anyway. Like, I always struggle on the back.
Sean probably cannot fold now. Trip ace is just way too strong against a player who hasn't lost all
It
night.
makes it tougher when they change the What they do, shorten up fairways and stuff?
Oh, those fairways. Yeah.
Deeb makes the call. Approaching a 10K pot. River's an 8 of spades. Pretty bricky for this board.
Like, I know I played out there a couple weeks ago. The ball just
Check.
stays
Deeb checks.
patchy.
How big is Sullivan going to go? We've seen a lot of polarizing size bets today. 15,000, another one from Sullivan. Every time it's been weighted toward value, I think there is a chance Shaun gets away from this.
You know exactly what I have, right?
This is where Shaun Deeb really shines. I know a lot of comedians lost their magic powers and they lost weight. Is the same true for poker players?
You do know what I have, right?
King Jack offsuit.
You can't put me on that every time. I flop the nuts.
King 10.
Are we going to see the correct laydown, or are we going to see a killing of a sacred Deeb? Starring Barry Cohen and Justin Theroux. Nobody saw that movie. Why am I doing this reference? Killing of a sacred Deeb. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Ships the 15K.
Can't stop winning.
Oh boy. We have an excessive celebration whistle.
Sometimes I have it, sometimes I don't, but you're always wrong.
Boop, 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 boop.
Ay, ay, ay.
Shaun Deeb is a
35
master needler, but you know what? He takes it really well too.
What's wrong with being a bad winner as long as you're not a bad loser?
Ben's both.
Let me know.
You're both.
Yeah. Triple straddle.
3 straddles?
$800 to call.
400, 800, 1,500 in the middle before anyone's seen their cards. Johnson, Stackewicz fold. Sigsbee with Queen Jack. Doesn't feel like a folder to me.
On.
All right, that's one way to do it. Sigsbee all in for 5,100.
Thought you were gonna
Deeb's got ace-6 offsuit.
You have 35 behind.
Yeah, very well. How much is it?
Asking for a count.
Thank you.
5,100.
Deeb's reload from the last hand has arrived. He did add on before the hand started. Calls the 4,700.
Call for you, but
We're going to run all 5 cards. Ace high for Deeb. One time only. Ace high holding. King tray.
Yeah, you had that crushed. I don't know why you folded.
An $11,000 flip. 9 on the turn.
Shane, do you know cards you win on the river?
I think at 10 wins.
River is a jack.
That's a winner.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
Sigsbee's pair of jacks beats Deeb's ace high. Double up Sigsbee. Shaun Deeb's going to need more chips, and now we got to sell some. Watch the commercials. Welcome back to Poker Night in America. 4 winners in the game now, but that's because Shaun Deeb's left the table and been replaced by MJ, who had already left the game in disgrace/disgust, but now he's back.
Raise to 600.
Straddle is on. Sullivan throwing $200 in there. Dark, but it's Stackewicz who's got Kongs. Sullivan calls with 2 9s. We finally might not see a Sullivan celebration. Just kidding. Flops a set of 9s. My goodness. I hope he's at least learning a new TikTok dance for when he Feltowitz.
Raise to 1,200.
The 400 bet from Stackewicz gets raised to 1,200. And I wouldn't be at all surprised to see another bet go in. Stackewicz just calls. Turn card, 8 of spades. Sullivan still with top set. Board gets a little straightier, a little flushier. Of course, he doesn't care because he can't lose.
3,200.
3,200 into the overpair. Am I crazy that I would probably start thinking about folding these kings here?
Call 32.
Stackewicz calls. River is a 5. Okay, so that's kind of helpful for the 2 kings. It's another straight card. Sullivan has known exactly where he's been at in all these hands. Maybe he has Stackewicz on an overpair and the ability to pay off something.
Look at his chips right now. He's organized them.
You don't play any
That man
games?
doesn't flip.
Dude,
Sullivan bets 3,500.
doesn't flip.
That is a really reasonable amount to pay off with kings here.
Different times.
And kings do pay it off.
69,000.
Yet another chonky pot for Keir Sullivan.
It's a good seat, huh?
All right, we're going to put a pin in things for this game for now. These same players will be back next time. Worth noting, 4 losing players, Deeb and Gonzales, the 2 biggest ones. Johnson and Sigsbee up a little bit, but this game has been all about Keir Sullivan, up over $60,000. That's almost enough money to buy a BMW in 2008. Tune in next time for more from the Keir O'Sullivan Show. Until next time, my babies. Smell you later.
Good seat, huh?
I like to think so. Go buy a lottery ticket or some